Hi there, my name is Kevin Furman. You found a video in the Percussion Olympics series, and this one's sort of unique, and we're not going to talk about actual equipment, we're going to talk about how to set up equipment a little bit. So this is in the auxiliary percussion family, so not snare drum, not mallets, not timpani per se. Okay, we're just going to address it more from an auxiliary standpoint to start. Now, what I have here in front of me is this huge tray table. I actually made this one. I just found a carpet remnant, took a piece of plywood, more or less, and then cut it to the same size as the remnant, and then I stapled it to the wood, and then I put it on a tray stand. So you can get tray stands at restaurant supply stores. You can buy them, you know, from a music outlet, but really the restaurant supply stores really are a good outlet to find tray stands, and they can be a little bit different heights and whatnot. So anyway, I made this. I wanted something bigger. And some of them are manufactured. They have a lip on the edge so things don't roll off. That's actually really, really great. I just made this because it was a lot cheaper. So you can do what you want. Now, there's another trick, though, that I really like to bring up, and that is, you know, we have all this stuff, right? And things can be like, oh, where do I put it? And you can make noise, and you're trying to get to it, and all that. Another way to do this whole thing that's even cheaper than that is you go to a store and buy some black hand towels. I think this was less than $2, so really, really cheap. You can get, you know, a dozen of these for, you know, or so for less than 20 bucks. So you can have a bunch of towels. Now, how does that help you? Is a music stand can be extremely helpful. So if you have a music stand, you can flatten it out and then put a towel on it, right? So kind of like so. What I tend to do is that I'll put it up a lip like this. And what I'm trying to do is avoid, okay, because a lot of times people use a music stand like that, which makes a ton of noise in the middle of a concert, very distracting and actually not part of the song. Not only that, when you pick them up, it's really hard not to make noise. So to avoid that whole thing, it's just as easy to just flatten out the stand, right? Put a towel on it, set it on there. Then when you put sticks and mallets on there, they don't need to make noise, right? They can be very quiet. Also, it makes it easier to have, say, your sticks and mallets, even triangle beaters, whatever, on here, maybe even smaller instruments that you don't need as often. I tend to put things that roll in the middle. So put those on there so that when you go to play, your sticks and mallets are really handy and not in the way of your actual instruments. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about, you know, setup and things like that per se. I just want to talk about this tray stand thing. I think it's really worth the investment of either the towels, which is, again, the cheapest way, plus you have music stands, you can get a few extra. You need 8 to 10 in a full percussion section to really have enough to put sticks and mallets on. And I would recommend, you know, getting into the habit of that, because that's kind of how the professional way to go about this whole band thing really looks, or is, and that makes it look more professional. So you can look like you know how to play on a professional level just by doing the towel on a stand thing, and just get in the habit of doing that, even in rehearsal. With the groups that I work with, I highly recommend they just leave the stands up, and if they can, leave the towels on there. If the room's locked in between band rehearsals, just leave the towels on there. Everybody knows just to leave them alone. If the band room gets used for other things when band isn't happening, just take the towels off, leave the stands there. They're flat, they look different. People tend to leave them alone unless, you know, they just like move stuff around for some reason. So that way you've got them set up. At the beginning of class, you take the towels, put them down, get your mallets, boom, you're ready to go. It's pretty simple. Plus, they're real portable. You have them all the time. And then things like this. This is very big. It can get clunky, it's a little heavy and all that stuff. It's great because it's big, and you can put a lot of stuff on it. It's very sturdy. But it also can get in the way, you know, can cause a lot of just traffic jams in a setup, depending on what you have for your concert hall, if you will, or your concert place, a gym or a stage or a actual, you know, performing arts center. Whatever you've got could be different, so I can't address every single issue. But I can say that either one of these or both are great. Another thing that stands have an advantage of, you can raise and lower the height real easily. So you can think 3D about, you can even stack a couple of them next to each other, one higher than the other. That way you've got kind of two rows, and there are things, then you're not spread out as much as, you know, kind of spread up. And that can save space sometimes. And I had done a lot of Broadway show type playing in my career, and I had to really think about space this way as opposed to this way, because the pit was very small and I was trying to cram timpani and vibes and xylophone and bells and chimes and etc. in a very small space. So got pretty creative, and this was definitely a thing that helped me in that setting also. So that even helps your pit orchestras too. So the whole thing is just, it's a better way to do it. It makes a lot of sense. It's really simple. Doesn't cost a lot of money if you do the towel thing. You can invest in, get a carpet remnant. You can usually get free ones from some carpet place, and then just a piece of wood. So that's not expensive either. Just takes up a little more space, a little heavier. But either way, whatever you'd like to do. And if you want any other suggestions about that, just let me know. Set up things, or maybe, I don't want to do it. Can you make it for me? I actually kind of do that sort of thing also. I can make things for people if they really want them. So there you go. That's the basic idea with tray stands, and basic idea of what to do with setup so that things are not kind of falling on each other or falling on the ground, or they're not in a place where it's hard to get to. You can actually move things around, use some towels, and have a setup that's really simple. You can kind of move from instrument to instrument without any problems. Again, if you got any questions, just let me know. Pretty easy to find. Link will be, obviously in the description. So thanks a lot. Appreciate it, and we'll see you at the next video.